Grab your flashlights, wargamers, because in tenebris venari, which is Latin for in darkness we hunt, we're playing the second scenario in our Nightwatch campaign, in which our 4 intrepid adventurers are trying to catch up to and slay the Crimson Wyrm, who has been sighted way off in the distance. In our last episode, they knocked over this dark altar, and I moved all the terrain down to this half of the board, and we're going to go straight into the second scenario. I don't know what that scenario is. Now, I used these stone circles as my spawn points in the last episode. In this episode, they're getting into the towering oaks. So I have 3 large oak trees, 1 on either side and 1 off camera in that direction. And those are going to be my spawn points. Plus, I have a dark oak in this copse of woods. For this terrain, this is broken ground. It costs 2 inches to move across 1 inch of this ground. I'm going to turn this like this. The rocks here and here and here and the logs are actual terrain that will provide some cover. We've got a couple of swamps that you cannot move across at all. You can shoot across those. And then these hills here are actually a cliff. The cliff is on the other side. Let me slide this down so I can show you. So opposite here, there's a cliff on that side. It's one long cliff, a couple of notches in it. But long story short, you're going to have to climb down that cliff. It costs 3 inches of movement to cross it in either direction. And here are our victorious heroes. Well, they were victorious last time. We've got Don Cossack, a sword and board fighter. He rolls 2 dice in melee and armor. We've got our tracker, Gordo Smith. He rolls 2 dice when he shoots his bow and 2 dice when he defends. We've got a Mancer. That's essentially a wizard. And then over here we have an alchemist, a bomb-throwing maniac. Now they roll 2 dice when they move, and then she rolls 2 dice when she throws grenades, or when he casts a spell, he rolls 2 dice. Our enemies will consist of various kinds of vermin. I've added a giant snake to the mix, in addition to a weird little tree man who moves through broken ground as though it was regular ground. Everybody else is going to have that 2-to-1 penalty. The next order of business is determining what scenario we're playing, and for that we need a D10. A roll of 3 gives us a rescue or retrieve. Pack members enter from their deployment edge to retrieve a powerful relic. Set up 4 medium-sized terrain areas in a 4 square, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Mark 1 as objective. Shuffle and place 1 piece under each of the 4 terrain items. A hunter must successfully interact, take an action, in order to search and reveal the slip. I have just the thing. I have 4 markers here, and we can kind of mix these up a little bit. One of these is our happy face. And so we're going to put 1... Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move this tree over here. We're going to put 1, and I don't remember where it is, so I'm going to put 1 there. I'm going to put 1 in the swamp. I'm going to put 1 under this tree, which I'm going to move over here. And I'll put 1 over here under this tree. So there's our 4 objects. The way you win the game, the way they win the game, is to spend a turn an action searching, and whichever one has the smiley face, pick it up and get it back here to the dark altar, and you win. We've got 7 turns. That's what this little die is for. It's turn number 1, and let's see what our pact is gonna do. At this point, all that our heroes have done is move up 7 inches, 5 inches, 6. That's their free move for the turn. Now we're gonna have to start rolling some dice to see who gets to move and who does not. So our alchemist does not. This is our fighter. Our alchemist does. Our bowman gets to roll 2 dice, but he succeeded anyway. And our wizard also gets to roll. Our wizard gets to roll 2 dice, so he does. So everybody, once again, everybody but the reluctant warrior, Don Cossack, is going to move up. So she moves up, and he can move 7, so our wizard can move up, and we'll bring our archer up to right about there, I think. And that's it for their D6s. I guess we should probably bring him up for sure. We're going to roll a D8 for that. And on a 5, he does get to successfully move up. So we'll bring him up. Now remember, he only moves 5 inches to there. And then we're going to hold off on that for a minute for his last action. She is going to spend an action searching. And a 4 will do it. And she finds a bland face. So that's nothing. Comes up empty there. And then Graham over there will try to search his tree. See if he finds anything. And on a 7, he discovers a bland face. So we still have to find what comes next. I'm going to move Gordo Smith up. He's going to take 1 action with this die, and he gets nothing. He'll take an action here, and he does get to move 6 full inches, which puts him right there. So at least he's in the lead, and since that's why we waited to see what she is doing, I'm going to try to move him up with his last action. And a 2 is not going to do it. Do we want to move Sapper Joanna? She can roll 2 dice. Yeah, we're going to move her. Not too far. So she gets 1 success. And then we're going to roll for the wizard to see if he moves up on his own too. And he, with a 5, also gets a success. And that will end the turn for our heroes. A little something like this. Movement in this game, you can turn, so she'll move 4 inches to there, and I think we'll stop her right there. We don't want her to get too far ahead of her muscle. That's it for turn 1. Now we move on to the dark team's half of the game, and we're going to call that spawn point 1, 2, this dark oak is 3, and that one is spawn point 4. So for the vermin first, I get a 4, so the vermin are going to start over here. And for the 2 hordlings, I get a 2, they're going to start over there. And I'm going to go ahead and start by giving them all their free move right off the bat. So they spawn, and then they move 6 inches. All right, a lovely pincer movement for these guys. And remember, our hordlings are going to be the rougher set to deal with, because they take their free move and then they get 2 actions. And they are going to charge. Who are they going to charge is the question. I'm going to roll. And on a 1 through 4, they'll go after the wizard. And on a 5 through 6, and I'll roll for each of them. So I got a 5 and an 8. So they both are going to try to take out our shooter here. And we're going to roll for this one. They both have to move, so we'll just roll for both their movement. One gets a move and moves to contact, and he can attack. The other one is going to have to make a second check, and with a 4, he moves to contact. But our hero here only has to fight in hand-to-hand with one of them. So the one of them takes an attack, and he rolls a 1, and that's a miss. On this side of the board, I've got our little tree demon, a little treeling here, who is not restricted by rough ground when he moves through these patches of forest. So I put him in the forest. I figure that's where he's comfortable. That's where he likes to be. That leaves me with the 2 bats who are going to fly after our alchemist. And they will do that on a 4-up. So they move 6 inches on a 4-up. And then that vermin is going to move towards, let's call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. So he's also going to move up to her. He takes a bit of a roundabout path. Because they have flight, they can make it in 1. And because he chose to move through the woods, he's going to stop right about there. And we'll actually cheat it a bit so you can see him. And that then becomes the end of the bad guy's turn. So that is definitely the end of turn 1. Now our heroes have an opportunity to try to counterattack, or at least whittle their numbers down. Don Cossack is going to use his free move to engage this vermin right here. And then he's going to use his first attack. Now he can roll 2d6 on his attack. He's going to use his sixer, and he's going to miss both times. That's okay. He also has 8s that he can use to attack. And he gets a hit with one of those. That vermin now has to roll to save. And on a 6 he does. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and use our 2d10 and see what happens. And with a 4, that's 1 hit. Don Cossack is done. That vermin fails its save, and Don Cossack earns another 3 silver pieces. Now she is going to use her flash powder to disengage. She can do that once per game. And she's going to disengage to make it over to this token. And she'll use the first of her actions to interact. And she rolls a 6, which reveals that she has found the big prize. So, that being the case, she has used her free move. She's used her first action. She's going to use 2 actions to try to run away. And with that, she gets to move 12 inches. Or actually 14. She has a 7-inch move. So she can move to here. And she can move... Now here's the question. Do we want to end the scenario so quickly? They haven't met any of their vows yet. These guys all have vows they need to fulfill. In fact, oh, you know, she could harvest those dead bats to get her 4th vow completed. But to do that, she would have to kill this bat first. Let's do it. Let's use that second action to throw. What do we got? We got a big... Ooh, it's a 3-inch blast, though. I don't know about that one. Big heel speed. Nope, she's gonna cruise on down here. And then she's going to use that last move to cruise on over here and wait for her buddies to catch up. He is going to use the first of his bolt spells, and he doesn't want to fire into melee. He's afraid he'll hurt his good buddy. What does he have that he can help him out with? He could always cast Flight and get on out of there. He could cast Fortify, which would help him out, because he's going to attack at a -2. That's going to be a real problem. He's got 3 actions. I think the first thing we need to do is get him to here. So we're going to roll a... Oh, actually, his free move is going to be to do that. He wants to stop within 3 inches of as many friends as possible. Yep, that's what he does. And then he's going to use his once per game ability is going to give +2 defense to all of his friends within 3 inches, as long as they're within 3 inches of him. That is an arcane shield, and it's an area of effect spell. So to get that off, he needs to roll a 10, and he does. That is his second action, and he still has 2 actions left. Well, there you go. That's the secret there, is he's got 2 actions left. Let's go ahead and cast another spell, and we're going to use the D8s for this, and the 1-4 is a success. So that spell is Mage Bolt, which lets him shoot 4 bolts at this vermin right here. He's the only vermin he's got in sight that he doesn't want to risk hurting anyone. He gets 2 off, and that means that vermin has to succeed on both of these. It fails, it goes down, and now I'm going to put that there, and now he gets a little bit of silver. Nice shooting, Graham. He's got 1 more action. And then we're going to do, let's see, no, he moved. He did the 1 spell, he did the second spell, and he's going to hold his last action. Now it's time for Gordo. He's got 3 attacks. So let's start with a melee attack, so they're at -2. He's got a target number of 6. He's going to attack, and he gets 2 hits. And what we'll do is we'll just have him attack one of these guys who makes his save, and then the other guy then fails it. So he's able to get one of them at least. That ends the turn. And now it's time for the bad guys to first spawn. And we're going to have 3 vermin. Again, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those vermin spawn from the same tree, and then the 2 horde now spawn from the north. Those hordelings spawned there. Remember, this is a cliff all the way across, so they're going to have to come around this way. They each get 2 actions with a D8. They're both further than 6 inches from the nearest guy, so they're going to come through here, and we're going to roll 2 D8 for each of them. And it doesn't matter which one, because they're in about the same place. So one of them moves 6 inches, and the other one gets to move a full 12. The one of them moved to contact here. The other is right there. We've got 3 vermin over here that are also looping through this way. And of those, all 3 of them are successful. This guy also has an opportunity to move 6 inches to contact, and he is successful. So he cruises on through, and he's going to contact the closest enemy. That's him. Since there's 3 there, we're going to bring these 3 6 inches down here. So right about there. That looks good. And that is it. Oh, no, that's not it. We've got one more vermin over here. That vermin is going to take 2 pokes at poor old Gordo Smith. And he gets 2d8 to see how many hits he gets, and he misses on both. You're a lucky man there, Gordo. Moving on to turn number 3. We can reset our dice and our actions and see what happens. We got a lot going on here. Let's start with our prize bearer. Our alchemist finally has a chance to use her big bottle of boom, and she's going to target this middle guy. And we're going to go with D10s because we really want to hit. This is an area effect, and the 7 means it hits. And it affects everybody within 3 inches, which is just enough to catch this guy as well. Now, that means they each have to take a toughness number 4 at -2, which essentially means they only save on a 6 or higher. We've got 4 vermin here, so we're going to roll for these 3 rats first, and none of them succeed. Then we're going to roll for our tree demon, who also doesn't succeed. So she just wiped out 4 enemies in one go. Not bad at all. Even better, Sapper Joanna has only used 1 action, and she has her free move. So she's going to run over here and use her final 2 actions to harvest more stuff. She only gets 1, but that's okay. She's got 4 of her vows done, and we'll get rid of the one that she succeeded on. And she's done for the turn, which leaves our sword and board fighter. He's going to take D8s to try and kill this hordeling, and he gets 2 hits, which really only one of them works. That hordeling is going to save on a, well, not on a 1. He needs a 4 up, so he knocks him down. And that means he can spend an action praying for the soul of the fallen. And that's a D10, and the 8 means he has succeeded in his first vow. He only has to pray for 9 more hordes. He has 1 more move left, and we can hold off on that. No, he has his free move and another action. We're going to wait, because I want to know what's going on with this guy first. Actually, I want to know what's going on with this guy first. He has a plus... Whoop, let's turn around. And we are going to cast, I think, Fortify. Let me look that up real quick. No, he's not. He's going to use his free move to run over here. He's going to stop an inch away, and he is going to bonk that guy on the head. He's going to take, let's try with our What is his vow, by the way? Graham's vow is that he has to take actions. Oh, at 10 spawn points. Well, let's do our bonk action first. We're going to use a D6, and that's not going to do it. And then we'll use our D10. That's going to be a hit, and our bad guy is going to save. And let's go ahead and use our last action. Sorry, bud, we tried. No, we'll bonk him one more time. He saves. He fails to save, and that means he has now slain another horde. Freed up, that means Gordo over here can use his tenor to try to tag this horde. He's definitely within range. He rolls 2 dice, he gets a 4, so that's a success, and that horde dude saves. Okay, so we'll shoot him with a pair of 8s. Where's our 8s? There we go. Shoot him with a pair of 8s. He gets a hit. And that horde is going to have to save with an 8. They only have 1 wound. And that 4 is going to do it. Ooh. This is a tough guy. And we got 1 more shot. So we hit him again. And that horde rolls a 7. So he is dodging fool over there. I think that's about it. Nope. Don has 1 more move left to him. 1 more action. And I think he doesn't really have much to do. So we'll go ahead and, I don't know, let's see if we have a success. Yeah, we'll move him, we'll just kind of pull him back here so he's ready for anything. In fact, let me measure this. We might be able to cost this guy an attack. Yeah, if we move back to right there, that horde guy is not going to be able to attack. Which brings us back to the horde rolling to see where they come in on. And, oh, I should specify. Vermin first. Oh, this is going to be turn 3. So we should still be at 3 vermin and 2 hordes. Yep, those 3 vermin are going to come in on the north, and the hordes are going to come in at the north as well. Oh, that's good for our team. It's good for our team because you can see after their free move, they got to come all the way around through here. The only other living enemy is this hordeling right here. He gets 2 actions. He's going to spend his first one trying to move, and he fails, which is great. So his second one fails as well. He is clearly upset by all the carnage around him, and just like that, the horde team is done for the turn. It becomes turn 4, and it might be time to go ahead and exercise the better part of valor. So free moves. We're going to bring Gordo on up here to pray for the fallen. We're going to move... Oh, can he make it? Yeah, that's 5 inches. And then we're going to move... I'm sorry, we're going to bring Don Cossack up here to pray for the fallen. We're going to bring Gordo Smith back 6 inches with his free move. And we're going to bring Mr. Wizardman back just behind him as well. Then we're going to go ahead and pull the prize back 6 inches. Actually, 7 for her. And we're going to pause it right there while I move the camera. There are 2 fallen for Gordo to pray for, so we're going to start with our D10 and roll a 8, so he completes his second, and we're going to roll a 3, and we're going to roll a 6. So he prays for each of those, and just like that, Don Cossack has prayed for the souls of the soulless 2 more times, bringing him up to a grand total of 3 out of his 10 required. I will mark that down here on his character sheet. And just like that, I think we can win the game now. Oh, no, before we do, though, I want to move this out of the way because he has some stuff he wants to do. He's going to try to move into here, and he does. Now, he can only move about 3 inches, so he's going to need another action, which he gets. And then he's close enough to study this gray oak. And on a 4, he's successful. So he has completed his second task of his burden. And then the only thing that's left to do is try to get her to here And with 3 moves that she makes, she does. They have recovered the artifact. They have united. This is a holy hammer that she strikes this weird altar with. See all the weird faces there? And she cracks it in half, thus breaking the power of this section of the evil Northlands. That is our second successful mission. Let's tally up some silver, shall we? The first order of business is to see how much treasure we took. 30 silver this time. That's great. So we're going to divide that up for everybody. And then we have some silver bounties. Gordo killed 1 hordling, so he gets a bonus of 6. Don Cossack, for all his reluctance, killed a vermin and a hordling for 9. Sapper Joanna killed 4 vermin for 12, and our resident Mancer, Graham Bevan, gets 6 for the horde that he killed. So if we divvy up that 30, everybody gets 7. We'll give the extra 2 to Gordo to help pay off his debts. So he gets 9 for a total of 15, 16, 19 for Sapper Joanna, and 7, 13 for Graham. That brings Graham up to a total of 30 silver. Joanna is up to 33. Don Cossack is at 29. I'm sorry. Yeah, Don Cossack is at 29, and Gordo is up to a whopping 39. Altogether, I'd say we're doing reasonably well in this campaign. We haven't taken a single point of damage. We've had a couple of easy scenarios to run and gun through. Everybody has satisfied at least 20% of their vow, and most of the people have done anywhere from 30 to 60%. So we're looking good. Our next time out, we're going to have to do some leveling up because our novices have now graduated to the next level of guildsmen. They'll have new powers, new abilities unlocked, and we'll run through that at the start of the next video. Until then, I'm praying for you.